Hi guys, my name is Alex Treffers and today you are in my kitchen. A little bit about me, I am a certified health coach, a nutritionist, I create recipes, and I'm a former D1 athlete. So fitness and food are my jam. And today I'm going to be trying out a couple different massage guns and giving you my review on them. We're going to be trying out some from Theragun as well as some from Hypervolt. Today I've got from Theragun, I've got their two new products, and then I also have the Hypervolt OG and the Plus. And we're gonna be testing out the pressure on them, seeing which ones I like the best, comparing the noise, all that jazz, so that you can make an informed decision on which one you want to buy for yourself. All right, so first up, I am going to be using the new Theragun Elite. This guy's only been out for about a month. I can already tell you right now, just looking at them, this one feels a little sexier and sleeker. Love that I can hold it different ways too. So I feel like, I use this on like literally any muscle part of my body that I can. So if I wanna hold this on my back or my tricep, I love that I can like grip it this way, which feels a lot more comfortable and less awkward. Whereas if I just wanna like use it on my forearm, this feels fine. So yeah, pretty much I just love that I can move this all the way around. This guy does have just one handle. So we'll note that. I'm gonna get started with this one. What I already know and love, because I have turned them on, is that this has quite a few different levels that I can go up on, whereas this one only has 3. So I'm gonna start at 1750, which you can hear what that sounds like right now. I personally, if I'm gonna use a massage gun, I want like as much pressure as possible, because what I'm trying to get out of this is basically the same thing as what I'm paying to go to a massage therapist for. So I'm gonna take this guy all the way up to 2400, which is the highest amount that it will go up to in decibels. So I'll take you through every level so you can hear what it sounds like, and we'll start comparing the sounds too. 1900, not much of a difference. 2100. 2200, and then lastly 2400. So I actually have had Theraguns in the past, and I can tell you right now, this is at its highest level is already quieter than the previous ones I've had. The previous ones I've had literally would scare my dog out of the room, and I feel like this one would be totally fine. So I'm gonna hold it this way and just try it on my forearm. And right now I'm just gliding it across. So this is what it would sound like without putting much pressure on it. And then I'll find a spot here in a second to apply a little bit more pressure, and we'll see what the sound feels like differently, or sounds like differently. This feels amazing though. So I'm gonna hold it in a different way too, and put it on like my tricep. Actually, I would hold it this way, way less awkward. I think it's amazing that it has so many different ways you can hold it, because especially if you're giving yourself a massage. I would prefer to have my husband use this on me and me just lay there and get a massage, but most of the time it's me having to actually use this myself and give myself a massage. So having different angles that I can hold the massage gun really makes it easy to hit the different muscle groups. And then this is what it sounds like putting pressure on my tricep. My whole body's shaking, because it still is good pressure, even the lowest setting. All right, so that is the Theragun Elite. So we are going to try out now the Hypervolt Plus. This guy has 3 different settings. So this one went up to 1750, 1900, 2100, 2200, and 2400. So I had a bunch of different settings, whereas this one is just 3. So I'll start off on the lowest. And as I mentioned before, it's kind of a bulky hold here. So I feel like, using it on like my thighs or my forearms is gonna get pretty easy, but when it gets to like trying to get my back or like my shoulder blades or triceps, I feel like it might get a little bit awkward to hold, so we'll try it out. But this is the lowest setting, so you can hear what that sounds like. I'll take you through all the settings first, like we did on the Theragun. This is the second setting. and this is the third setting. So still not obnoxiously loud, but I can tell a difference between the first and the third setting pretty dramatically. So I'm gonna do the same arm actually. So this is what it sounds like just gliding along. I feel like it has a little bit more of like a humming sound to it when it goes across my skin than the Theragun does. Let's see what it sounds like when I apply pressure. I feel like it quiets down a little bit, but there is a lot more of a buzz sound with the Hypervolt when I move it across and glide it across my skin here. So now I'm going to move it to my tricep, which again, I wish I had like a different way to kind of hold this, but we'll work with what I got. So I'd say the pressure is pretty good. I do feel like the Theragun had more pressure to it, which is what I'm looking for again in a massage gun. Sound is about the same. I think the biggest difference I notice is just a little bit more humming with the Hypervolt than the Theragun when you are gliding it across your skin. But let's see what they sound like when we just put them up to each other without actually putting them on my skin. All right, so we will start this one at its lowest setting, the Hypervolt. We will start at plus, we will start it at its lowest setting, and then the lowest setting for the Theragun Elite. So this is the Theragun Elite and the Hypervolt Plus on their lowest settings. And now I'm just going to take you through to the highest settings of both and compare the sound. So, I mean, I'm going to close my eyes here because I feel like that's an easier way for me to just kind of listen. They sound both kind of the same, but funny enough, as I'm holding them, this one feels like it's taking a lot more energy to move than the Theragun. So the Hypervolt just sounds like it's working harder than the Theragun. This one's a little bit easier to hold. This one is vibrating. The Hypervolt is vibrating in my hand a lot more. So that's the biggest difference I can take away while my eyes are closed. And then just listening to them here, again, they sound pretty much the same, but I love that this one feels like it gives me more pressure. So I'm a fan of the Theragun Elite just in terms of how I can hold it, in terms of the pressure I'm getting from it, and the fact that they're both pretty much the same in terms of their noise level kind of washes that out in terms of a reason why I would choose one or why I wouldn't. All right, so closing thoughts here. I mean, both, I think, just in general, having a massage gun is such like a crucial part of recovery, and I honestly couldn't imagine my life without a massage gun at this point. But the key takeaways I find is that I really like the Theragun Elite because, again, I can hold it a bunch of different ways. I find that that's going to be really useful, especially if you're giving yourself massages more than you're having your partner, your roommate, or your friend or family member help to give you a massage. So like that. I feel like it's very sexy and sleek looking too. I wouldn't mind like showing this off and sharing it with my friends. And really liked that I felt like the pressure on it was a lot more in terms of getting to the highest level versus the highest level that the Hypervolt gave me. And that's what I want out of this, because if I am going to be giving myself a massage, I want it to feel just as good as when I'm going to go pay for one, which is why I would buy one of these. So the Hypervolt though, liked it, but I felt like the biggest downfall that I felt between this one was that it had a lot more of a humming noise when I actually like glided it across my skin and when I put pressure on myself. So I feel like the noise was pretty much the same without the products touching my skin or putting pressure on them. But when I tried to apply more pressure, could definitely hear this one more, and also felt like this one was a little bit harder to like keep a grip on versus the Theragun Elite. Worth noting that both are comparable in price right now too. So you can get both for about $3.99 within that price range. And I mean, the added benefit too is that the Theragun Elite actually comes with this travel bag, which you would essentially have to pay extra for with the Hypervolt. And I know for me, I don't want to just like throw this in my gym bag or even in my carry-on case wherever I'm taking it, because I want it to like last and look as pretty as long as possible. So being able to put it in a bag like this is really helpful. So that's my takeaway. I'd go with the Theragun Elite just because the differences that I notice in this are the pressure, and that's what I want the most out of it. And again, both of them are about the same in price and about the same noise, but if I'm going to get a massage gun, I want it to make sure that I'm getting the most pressure out of it and the best massages that I can out of it. So I'd go with this guy. So let's start out with the Theragun Prime. Let's mention too that both of these are about the same price. They're both in the $299 range. And when it comes to the Theragun, little knowledge too, you're gonna have the Pro, you're gonna have the Elite, and then you're gonna have the Prime. So the Prime is the least amount of pressure out of all of them, but let's really see like how much pressure it is and if we still think it is a good buy here. And then the Hypervolt will come after that. So turning this guy on. This is the lowest setting, so you can just kind of hear what it sounds like when it's at the lowest setting. Now I'm gonna first, before I actually put it on my skin, I'm gonna put it up to the highest level that it can be at. So as you can see here, that is the sound that it is at for the highest level. So it looks like there's 4 different levels that you have for the Theragun Prime. So let's try it out. I'm gonna hold it now and just try it out on my triceps here. Honestly, that feels like a lot of pressure still, in a good way. I mean, whenever I use a massage gun, like I wanna feel like it's getting deep. I don't wanna feel like a surface level massage. So I'm still feeling a lot of pressure from this thing, which is amazing. I mean, I feel like if I were to even just like hold it down on a certain area, I mean, that's actually the least amount of sound is when you put some pressure on it. So gliding along is pretty quiet, but when I put a little bit of pressure down, which is actually like the most amount of pressure that I'm like exuding onto this, funny enough, that's the least amount of sound I can hear. I mean, this thing is a lot of pressure for being the one that's only $299, comparable to like its sister products. I'm like really impressed with how much pressure is in this thing still. So let's try out the Hypervolt now. So this is the Hypervolt OG. This is their original one they've had for a couple of years. This one's been around, the Theragun Prime's been around for like 2 months. So this one is, again, a couple years old. We're gonna try it out. I'm gonna have it on its lowest setting here, just so you can hear what the sound is like first. And then we're gonna put it up to its highest setting, and then I'm actually gonna try it on the same arm. So everything feels like the same comparison. All right, so that is the loudest, or the biggest that it's gonna go in terms of like the level for the Hypervolt OG. Now let's actually try it out on the skin. All right, so right off the bat, I can tell you the biggest difference between this Hypervolt OG and the Theragun Prime is the pressure. Like it feels like the same level, like from a surface level massage, but like this thing is not giving me a very good massage from like a deep tissue level. Like I don't feel like if I had like a super sore spot, say on my tricep or something, that I would actually feel like it's getting like deep into that. So the sound is about the same for both of them in my mind, but I definitely don't feel like the Hypervolt is giving me the same kind of pressure in a massage. And just by looking at it, I'm gonna have to put both of them up so we can actually like see the difference. I don't feel like it's moving as much. Like I don't feel like there's as much movement in the Hypervolt as there is in the Theragun, which would explain why I'm not feeling like it's as deep of a massage. So why don't I keep this one on and hold it like this, and then I'm gonna turn the Theragun Prime back on, and we can notice how much it's moving here versus how much it's moving here, and you'll probably see what I'm talking about in terms of just how much pressure I'm getting into my muscles. So yeah, the Theragun is definitely moving back and forth a lot more and has a lot more range in terms of how much it's going to move and how much pressure it's going to give me in my muscles. versus the Hypervolt just looks like it's kind of just staying in one place and just vibrating versus giving me like a back and forth like movement. Pretty big difference there. Again, so that would explain how I'm feeling. Like this one is giving me a lot more pressure in my massage versus this one, and they're the same price. So just to be able to get a deeper like massage, I'm definitely going to be going with like a Theragun Prime here. Sound-wise, they sound about the same though. It's a different kind of sound. I feel like the Hypervolt sounds a little bit more like a humming sound. But if I close my eyes, I mean, they both pretty much sound the same to me. I couldn't even tell you which one's coming from which if my eyes are closed. Holding it though too, the Hypervolt vibrates a lot more and feels a little bit more unsteady in my hand, whereas the Theragun just feels a little bit more stable. But yeah, same kind of noise, but this one by far is giving me more pressure. All right, so closing remarks on the Theragun Prime and the OG version of the Hypervolt. So both sound about the same. You know, they're even in the same price range, that like $299 price range. But the two main things I took away of why I prefer the Theragun Prime a little bit more is that I feel like it gave me a deeper tissue massage. I couldn't get the Hypervolt to give me enough pressure on my muscles to feel like a good deep tissue massage, whereas the Theragun definitely gave me that, even when I was just like gliding along and letting it do the work for me. And when I was adding some pressure to it, it felt like a deep tissue massage. And also love that when I like want to hold it in a different area, maybe get like my back or my triceps, it's a lot easier to move around, just like a lot more of a natural feel. Whereas like with the Hypervolt, when I wanted to like get to my triceps or my back, it just felt a little bulky and a little awkward to hold to get to those areas. So again, noise about the same, price the same, but to get the biggest bang for your buck, I really liked the Theragun Prime to be able to give me a deep tissue massage and just to have like a more natural hold and feel to it.